Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of GoTigers247's Film Room. I'm your host, Christian Fowler, and joining me, as always, is former Memphis offensive lineman Gabe Kuhn. Gabe, coming off a big win over Cincinnati, what were your takeaways from the game?
You gotta go do it again. That's what throws me off.
Hey.
That's what throws me off. The takeaways, though, I thought, for the most part, they stuck in there. They played hard defensively. They were nice. Ben Bryant actually threw them for a loop, and they handled it for the most part, picked them off twice. Decent game. But the main thing that I, come out of that game with confidence about is they played at Cincinnati speed the whole game.
Right.
And still won by 10 points. Right? And that's the thing that you knew Cincinnati was going to try to control the pace with Michael Warren, keep the ball on the ground, keep getting first downs, chugging it out. And even though they did that to a certain extent, the Tigers still came out on top.
I think you called it perfectly last week on Film Room because you said the bare minimum for this team is 28 to 35 points.
Right in there, 34.
And they had 34 points. They had over 400 yards, so it's crazy to even say that they had an off night.
Yeah.
But they did not look like they have over the past few weeks. Still over 400 yards, still 34 points, still won by 10 points. But it just didn't look like it has. And I think that, with them winning, I think that's a good thing because I don't see them having back-to-back off weeks. And to call that an off week is obviously a testament to where this offense is, but they struggled at times. I think especially up until that big trick play that they had off the kind of double reverse touchdown pass to Damonte Coxie. It was they would either have a drive that would go for a touchdown or they were stalling. And I think this week they obviously cleaned that up. I think they were a little bit conservative at times, which I think played into having to play this team twice. Yeah. And then Mike Norvell realized, well, we got to win this game to play them again next week. So let's kind of bring out some of the tricks and go deeper into the bag. And I think that's what happened, which means that he probably has a lot more left for this week.
Yeah, and you got to give Cincinnati's defense credit. Brian Wright, their linebacker, has been a really good player all year. They have playmakers on that side of the ball, so you have to give them a certain amount of credit. But like I said, the playmakers, even though it was an off night, showed up. Right? 400 plus yards of offense, 34 points. And that's the bare bone. And I think a lot of Memphis fans went home saying, I think we left a lot of points out there on the field. So that's a good sign going into a game that's sort of going to propel you into a place that you haven't been as a program. And I think when you look at this game in particular, if Cincinnati decides to go with Desmond Ridder over Ben Bryant, I don't think it much matters because when you look at what they were able to do defensively last week, they were able to hold down Michael Warren for the most part. Obviously, 122 yards on 21 carries is what it is.
But it was more
that's holding down Michael Warren.
It was more of the big runs too, because he had multiple big runs, and then they stopped him at the line of scrimmage a lot. And it wasn't a perfect game from the defense, but it's kind of what we've come to expect. They forced 3 turnovers, 15 tackles for loss, which is ridiculous.
Havoc plays. That's been a big difference this year.
Yeah,
it's getting JoJo Dorceus in the backfield, making sure Bryce Huff can get some penetration. That has made the biggest difference this year, I think, because when you set somebody up on first down and get them behind the chains, that's when they start to make mistakes, and that's when they start reeling. Ready to blow this candlestick?
Yeah.
Let's get it done, man.
Man, you could have made that any nerdier than that.
Yeah, it is what it is, man.
And now you can't even get it to work.
Yeah, what do you mean? It's rolling. It's rolling. Yeah, this is a good way to start the game. I got to say.
I think they'll take it.
Yeah, you got to give it up to Pete Limbo, right?
Incredible, absolutely incredible. Memphis' special teams is good every year, but I think this is.
You know what threw me off though? What? How is he so fast? Usually when you're fast, you have a downright run. He's upright.
That's what they tell you. You never stand straight up to run. He's straight up with the head back, and he's still rolling.
But what I want to point out here, Quindell Johnson does a really good job. It's really hard to make these blocks on kickoff return. It really is. Quindell Johnson does a really good job, and then you got to watch JoJo Dorceus. He does so much for the team.
This is a knockout
blow. And he
blow.
punches him right in the face.
Knockout blow.
Done. And then
I thought the kicker was going to.
Did he get touched the whole way?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe got a finger laid on. It is what it is.
Kicker might have touched him with the shoulder pad, but that's a hell of a way to start the game.
Yeah, if you want a team to quit early, that's what you would do. But Cincinnati did stick around for a little bit. It is what it is.
And then this is basically the very next play.
Another way to start. Right here, this is very interesting. I think this right tackle must be a young guy because when you see a guy cheat up into the boundary and you have 4 down linemen, you know that DN's going to stun inside. And this right tackle sort of kicks out and is late to the party here.
Yeah.
Very late. Just lets him get to the inside and
Just crushed him.
Jeez, he sort of jumped at him too.
It's like this defense, and I feel like it's every week we talk about this. It's like the first play of the game is always a negative play for the opposing offense. Like they always come out and set the tone early, which is obviously very good.
And again, havoc plays. That's what they term them as nowadays. And you set him behind the sticks to start the game. That really discourages an offense.
Especially with a quarterback making his first start in a big game, and this is how he starts the game.
Especially with Cincinnati, they have not been a very good throwing team all year, and to drop back on your first snap. This is his first start he got all year,
and this is what he sees.
This
is his view right here.
That's very discouraging to start a game. But Ben Bryant actually did bounce back.
No, he played well.
Played pretty well.
He played well.
2 picks, but it is what it is.
Some more setting the tone right here. Memphis set the tone early.
What have we been saying every week?
Why?
Too little.
Why are
Too
we,
little.
And why are we not doubling him?
And also,
Brady
if you're
White.
We talked last week about, you don't press Coxie. You don't do it. You also don't blitz a corner and vacate the field for him.
No, not at all.
But good job by Brady White here.
Yeah, because if you look at the top, I mean, he really doesn't show, the corner really doesn't show that he's coming until late, and Brady recognizes it immediately. It goes straight to Coxie. It's that hot read. It's perfect.
Great job on the hot read, throws it to his outside shoulder. And then this is
just get off of me.
You're too little. You're too little.
That's incredible.
You're just you can't cover him. You can't.
I know Coxie wasn't obviously at the level he is now when you played with him, but did he still have like that type of energy? Like is he? That's just
always. But the thing is, he was that good.
Yeah, he was.
But learning your role within the offense is the biggest thing with a Mike Norvell offense, right? And he had Anthony Miller, he had Phil Mayhew ahead of him, guys that were experienced within the college ranks. So. I mean, he was always that good. It's just getting used to the college game, but he is.
Gotta love the attitude, dude. I just love the way he plays football, especially
as
a receiver. That's the diva position.
Always yapping a little bit.
Yeah,
always yapping a little bit.
He said it after the game. I love getting in their heads. That's my favorite thing. Again, he does it.
If I'm him, I'm telling the opposing team that they're too little. They are. But right here, a little G lead action. This is interesting because Cincinnati's defense is sort of cheated to the long side of the field down here, sort of to the bottom of the screen, to the 2 wide receiver side. And really good design. You're in Wildcat. You have Antonio Gibson to the back side of the play, so that's why Cincinnati cheated.
Right.
And you'll see this is a G lead. We always talk about G lead. It's usually a kick out by the guard. Dylan Parham actually ends up pulling here for the force player.
Yeah, and there's 3 blocks. Watch, 56 Dylan Parham, 14 Antonio Gibson, and 86 Joey Magnifico, and that's what creates this play.
Easy crease. Really good job finishing the run.
That's well executed.
That's a well executed play. And you'll see it here. The crease is just massive. When you can get this guy, when you can get the left guard unscathed to the second level, to the force player, usually this play is going to pop.
Yeah. And Antonio Gibson just gets out in front.
It's so, it still amazes me. I don't understand how you put a wide receiver in the backfield and think
it works.
Well.
And it works.
Yeah, I don't get it. Right here, Kedarian's been playing at a very high level.
Yep. Past 2 weeks have been really big for him. And it's funny because we talk about it every week with playmakers, and it's like somebody steps up every week. And Kedarian, touchdown in back-to-back games.
I want to start here with the O-line because I always have to pat O-linemen on the back. 5 for 5. They take the 5 guys. And then the problem here is if you're Cincinnati, you have 6 guys out in the coverage. You have 2 crossing routes. And you have a guy coming out of the backfield.
Right.
It's really tough. If you're in a zone, it's hard to pass off. If you're in a man, it's hard to pass off and keep up with those guys. Right here, you'll see he just comes free. And all he has to get is, 9 yards. So he just turns upfield. And he shows a little strength.
Powers in. I mean,
shows a little strength.
Those 2 guys come out about the 3 or 4, and he powers his way in. Just a good play. Perfect way to start. I mean, we're only 8. How many minutes in? Like 7 or 8 minutes.
You see this linebacker frozen. He sees both these crossing routes. He's like, okay, where do I latch? I don't know where to latch. So you get free space, and this is sort of a walk-in in the grand scheme of things. If he gets a 5-yard run up to try to get in the end zone, it's going to be in there most of the time.
Perfect way to start the game.
Absolutely. And then Ben Bryant, like we said, he speeded up a little bit. He wasn't bad.
He played well. Gotta give credit where credit's due.
Right here, they bring everybody in the box and they just run a slant. And what I like about this play is on the inside, I can't really tell. I think who is this right here? I can't tell who that is. We'll see on this angle.
Zay.
It's Zay.
Yeah.
He actually sits. He sees the slant coming in behind his guy, and he tries to sit on it. It's just too late. And this is goal line. You don't need much.
It was a good pick from that tight end.
Yeah, good job. Good job by the offense here. You got to give credit. And they got down there. So, I mean, in a situation like that, it's hard to keep them out of the end zone.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Especially with having Michael Warren and not knowing what they're going to bring with Ben Bryant. It was a difficult to defend.
And if we roll this back here, let me roll it back real quick. You'll see, like, they had 6 guys come because they did not want the ball to get ran. And I understand that completely.
Yeah, that's what when you play Cincinnati, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, you don't want Michael Warren to beat you if you can help it. Too little.
Too little.
Too little.
He's lined up.
This is
lined up off sides right now.
Well, this is interesting though. I mean, that's debatable because he points to the sideline and gets his.
He gets checked. He's checked.
As long as this line judge says he's good, he's good. But I love this because this is what they did against Tulane so much. Where they motion Kenneth Gainwell out of the backfield. But they don't really give them the look that they're used to because you have Coxie coming out of the slot.
The slot, yeah.
And
tell me if this safety wants it.
Tell
me if this safety. Keep rolling. Tell me if that safety wanted to make that hit.
No, he didn't.
Absolutely not.
And I mean, just the confidence to throw that ball.
Dude,
between 3 guys. Basically.
He dropped it in a bucket right there. Yeah, that is a Brady White of now throw. Brady White is not making that throw.
It's just interesting to bring a guy like Coxie out of the slot and just, I mean, you continue every week. We're in week 12 seeing more inventiveness out of Mike Norvell in the passing game. It's fun to watch, man.
Yeah, really when you're seeing things you haven't seen all week or all year in week 12, that means you've definitely kept defenses on their toes.
And you talk about soft spots. This is a tiny soft spot.
Yes.
This was a zone coverage. They had number 6 latch on to Coxie here.
With the safety over the top.
This is a very small soft spot, and this could only be in one spot. The timing is very vital on this play, too. If he doesn't throw it when he does, it could get picked off and go the other way. But really good job here. And then the run after catch. I mean, can I say too little? Just every
time he catches the ball, that's kind of what you have to say.
I mean, no one wants it from him. No one wants it.
It's 100% a mindset thing.
These defensive backs are scared almost at this point. If you give him a shot to go make a catch, he usually makes it at this point. He's got so much confidence, and Brady has a lot of confidence throwing it to him.
Wouldn't you?
I would too, yeah. You can't blame him. Can't fault him.
So this was obviously we usually put bigger plays in here, but I think the reason I put this in here is
this happened a lot.
This was all game because Memphis's corners were backed off, especially when they were to the wide side of the field, like right here.
Yeah, you
see Chris Claybrooks off 7 yards, which personally I'm not a fan of. I do not like that. It's basically like you're sitting in a zone when you do this.
Yeah, you freeze frame this. You already know that's going to be pretty easy to get a completion on. Because if you are Chris Claybrooks right here, you're 7 yards off the ball. If you stay there, you're fine. But the problem is, as soon as the ball snapped, he bails off a little bit.
Yeah, immediately bails.
And it's a man. They all latch on. Also, I am very terrified about number 87 here. I think Austin Hall should have latched on.
Yeah,
that's something they know they have to clean up because that would have been just as easy of a first down.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's just too much cushion from the start of the play, and that's what you see here.
Yeah, just
it's something they'll tighten up. They'll tighten it up.
I think they will go more this week, and it really does depend on who plays quarterback because I feel like you can play a lot more press man if Desmond Ritter's there because he's not as talented. He's not as talented as a thrower. And even if Ben Bryant does start again this week, I don't think we'll see as much cushion. I don't think we'll see 7-yard cushions because when they forced him to throw into tight windows, that's when he made mistakes.
And that's when a lot of quarterbacks make mistakes. Exactly. Is when you force them to make a good throw.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you bail off like that, you're not really putting him in a position where he's nervous to.
No, you're just letting him dump it down at that point.
They should tighten that up. That's something they're going to need to work on for sure. But here, this is a really good job in zone coverage.
Yeah.
You fake like you're in man. You have 2 guys high. Bail off on 2nd and 7. They run a corner. They run a sort of a hitch and then a corner right here with the tight end. And Ben Bryant should have thrown this ball.
No.
He shouldn't have.
No.
But you watch Jacobi Francis here.
Let
me start this.
His eyes the whole time are looking at Ben Bryant.
He's looking at Ben Bryant. He's reading his eyes. He knows 8's running this hitch, so he's not worried about that. He'll tackle that. It'll be a 3rd and manageable, but at least it's a 3rd down. Right. So he reads his eyes, sees that he's going whole way. Great job by Jacobi Francis here. He's been a playmaker this year, but ball security at the end of this.
Fortunately, they got back on it.
Fortunately,
they got back on it. But yeah, it's a great job of making him think that he has an open man.
Yeah,
and I think if it is Ben Bryant this week, which Cincinnati will likely probably keep it a secret until game time, just to make it difficult to game plan for. But that's more of what we'll see is forcing him to make throws that he doesn't want to make or things that he can't read as well because he is such a young player and hasn't seen defenses like that thrown at him.
Yeah, but I don't want to understate what Jacobi Francis was able to do on that play because that's not his assignment. That's not what he's supposed to do. He went off the beaten path and still made a play, and that's what you like to see out of DBs like that.
Absolutely, especially without T.J. Carter. Knowing you're going to have guys step up.
Absolutely, which is that's a big loss moving forward.
And once again, we've talked about it already. Just this defensive line.
Run a stunt on the inside.
Yeah, you got the stunt on the inside. You're just coming off the edge.
Land. It's landing.
Yep.
It is landing. It's game 12, and it's still landing. And that's what you want to see.
Jonathan Wilson.
Yeah, is that Michael?
Michael Warren, I think, yeah.
Yeah, he has to step up and make that block. But Jonathan Wilson, this is more of a
coverage sack,
but really good getting the ball out. Really, that's how you make plays. Havoc. Good job. Really good job. That's not Michael Warren. That's the
backup running back.
That's a backup running back. Yeah. So anytime you have a D tackle on a running
probably
back,
not going to end
well. Probably in a bad position.
No, good job going for ball there and getting it. Memphis' defense. This is when Memphis' offense was really struggling to move the ball and get anything going. And I don't think points.
Play.
I don't think points came out of this. No, points didn't come out of the first 2 turnovers.
No,
but it was big momentum for the defense.
Big momentum because Cincinnati's defense was playing up to their potential.
Absolutely,
and they were holding that Memphis offense down for the most part. And you'll see right here, 4th and 2. Not a big fan of play call. I will say that.
So here's the thing. There's 2 parts to this one because I saw a lot of people complaining that they go for it because it's a tight game. Defense has been playing well. I love personally.
What do you expect from Norvell? Though? And he's aggressive.
This is why Memphis is the best team in the American Conference. This is why they're 11-1. It's because he's ballsy. He's gonna go for it. When you think about icing the Ole Miss game, you think about icing games all season. He's had no problem going for it. So you can't complain about it because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I love the fact
if it worked, there would.
No one's going to say anything.
It's the best play call ever.
And, I mean, look, they're showing the graphic at the bottom of the screen, 14 of 22, 24th in the country. That's just what they do is they go for it on 4th and short. So I love the decision. I don't like the play call to the short side of the field.
Short side of the field, it's pretty obvious their defensive backs are going to be cheated this way, especially with them being on the right hash. It's just not the greatest play call, but again, in this day and age of analytics, you have to. If you're 14 for 22 on 4th down,
go for it. Especially
right here on the field, you know Cincinnati's defense or offense isn't all that great. You go for it. Go for it. But right here, want to start.
This is
Patrick
Taylor's awesome.
Really good job picking up that blitz because that would have been disastrous.
Yeah,
you never know if the ball pops out. You never know, but it was close. They made the catch just out of bounds.
Yeah, I just feel like with all the playmakers, and you see who's on the field right now. Antonio's on the field. Damonte's on the field. I think Kedarian and Joey. So you have playmakers everywhere. And you go to the short side. You got to give these guys some more room to work with.
And you basically only have 3 out in the route here because Kedarian's not even
that's
an
just
option.
That's just a run.
You shouldn't. I understand you want to get motion, you want to get people going the wrong way, but this isn't fooling anybody. You have to get if you're gonna go for it on 4th and 2, roll out to the short side of the field. You should probably have him out in the route as well to at least put pressure on the defensive backfield of Cincinnati.
Yeah, because I mean,
all you have to do is man up.
I mean, look, because Joey catches this ball, if this plays to the long side of the field, this is a first down.
Yeah, you have more room to work with.
So I love the decision. Play call wasn't crazy about, but can't ever fault Mike Norvell for a decision.
You're gonna make some plays sometimes. You're gonna miss some plays sometimes. It just happens. Michael Warren was a stud though.
He was a stud. No, like we talked about it. they did a good job of containing him, but when they didn't, it was long runs. There was no like intermediate that he kept churning out. It was either line of scrimmage or 30, 40-yard runs.
And you got to give him credit here. This is a sliver of space.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of space, and he squirts out there that's a tough play to make. And Bryce Huff, honestly, if we're being real, does all he can. He's playing for the read option, doesn't crash, tries to take the quarterback for the most part, but he still has a chance to make the play, and he just isn't able to. But Michael Warren's just a good player. Big, thick running back, hard to take down. You got to stop him before he gets going, or plays like this happen a lot.
Yeah, because they are big up front.
Yeah, they're big.
Cincinnati's offensive line is big.
They're big. They're space eaters, but I was not all that impressed. I'll say that much.
No.
They seem to not really. They seemed a little young.
They seemed young.
Like that first play, especially we talked about JoJo early, and you can't make that mistake.
No, especially not on the first play of the game.
Yeah,
so
you can't make that mistake. There were some things they showed that you can definitely expose them in certain situations.
It's kind of like, remember when we broke down the Navy game? It's kind of like their offensive line. Big maulers that want to run the ball, not great in pass protection, not great with pulling or doing these types of.
Navy's definitely not good in pass protection.
No, not at all. But it's getting a hat on a hat. They're good at that. If they're running that inside zone, their bread and butter, then they're typically good at blocking that up.
You know what? I like the caption here. Memphis defense stop. You know what that tells me? Hats to the ball.
Yep.
That was hats to the ball. I press play. Is it working?
There you go.
It worked. Bring a guy in motion, and you knew this was a 4th and 1 where they had run this inside zone. Inside zone. They're lulling them to sleep.
That's what they do.
They're getting 3 yards in a cloud of dust with Michael Warren every play.
Yeah.
And then they bring the same thing at him. And Memphis just said, no, I'm tired of it. You're not about to get this on us.
Here's the thing. Bryce Huff wasn't – I've talked about this a little bit, but he had to make an adjustment from a 3-4 outside linebacker to a 4-3 defensive end, which isn't a huge difference other than your hands on the ground. Mm-hmm. It took him a few weeks. He's really, really come on as of late. And right here, they try to block him. He's backside defensive end. They try to block him with the tight end, and he bench presses the tight end into the running back.
Really good play.
That is exactly really what you want to see.
And honestly, good job by Adam Fuller to recognize that they're going to run the same play and run a run blitz and let your playmaker and Bryce Huff stunt inside and then beat that right tackle who has struggled. He struggled on the first play of the game. So it's a really good job recognizing what they want to do and attacking what they want to do.
No, this is the tight end. It wasn't even the tackle. They tried to block him with the tight end.
You're correct. Yeah, it was. Morris Joseph, too, beating the tackle.
Yeah, up front, Memphis won on this play. O'Brien Goodson's stalemate. Zay Cullens gets down.
Again, I think we've referred to this. That Cincinnati offensive line is huge. This defensive line ain't big.
No.
But they're feisty and they're strong and they play really hard and they play low. So that's exactly what you see right there. And Brady White to Damonte? No way.
No way.
They did it? He got a TD.
But no, this was really the spark right here. This is 20-17 early in the fourth quarter, and this was the spark that kind of gave Memphis the momentum for the rest of the game.
A little double reverse pass here, flea flicker. I don't care what you want to call it.
Throw it up.
But yeah,
1-on-1.
1-on-1. You can tell from the start of the play that he's 1-on-1 because this safety right here, standing on the 40-yard line, doesn't attach.
Right.
You'll see, does not attach. Comes forward, in fact, and you know that. If Coxie gets a chance 1-on-1, Brady's throwing it up there and giving him a shot.
What's that corner, Gabe?
Too little.
He's too little.
He's too little.
I love the flex.
Yeah,
I love the flex on the
he's
ground.
Too little. With plays like this, with they call these gadget plays. You don't even know what to say, but this is just if you get a touchdown on a gadget play, you dialed it up at the right time. Yeah. That's all I can say.
You got your playmaker in 1-on-1 coverage. Brady throws the ball. A good 55, 60. It's a little underthrown, 55, 60 yards.
Give him a shot.
Give him a chance. That's all you have to do there. You don't have to hit him in stride because he's 6'3" and he plays like he's 6'10". So just throw him the ball.
And people talked about the play calling in this game. They thought he went a little conservative because they have to play him next week.
Yeah.
But that ain't conservative.
No, this is when he dug in.
Yeah. So I think he has some tricks in the bag because he has tricks in the bag.
This view is awesome too. Because you can see what they're doing. They're working levels. It's something that we've talked about for a week. Levels concept. They got Joey, Patrick out in the flat, and then it's because here's the thing.
And also, if he doesn't have confidence in this ball downfield, he's got a trailer right here.
Right. So
if
that safety would have attached immediately, if he would have seen it immediately, the safety in the middle of the field, because he's in no man's land. He has no idea what's going on right now.
He's chasing his assignment.
Right.
Back here.
So if he sees that immediately and bails, then you've got Patrick Taylor. So it's a great concept. It's drawn up perfectly.
We've watched this level. They've done it with Calvin Austin. They've done it with everybody. This levels concept. Usually they do it with 2 guys, but 3 guys. They even sneak Patrick Taylor in behind.
Yeah. But as soon as he sees one-on-one, it's signed, sealed, and delivered. He knows where he's going, and perfect.
Takes advantage of it, as he usually does.
This was a little frustrating right here because so just to preface this,
bring 3,
right?
You expect
the play before this was a Bryce Huff sack and strip, and it was actually with the play where the ball rolled out of bounds. Remember what I'm talking about? So that was the play before. So you have all the momentum. You're dominating them up front. Memphis' defensive line had 15 tackles for loss, I think 5 or 6 sacks. I don't like the decision to bring 3 here because if you do, you give them an opportunity to do this. And if you're going to bring 3 and play coverage, you have to be in the right spot in coverage at least.
I think you could bring 1 extra guy. I don't mind the 3 because I like 8 dropping when you're in this part of the field when you want to get a stop on 3rd and 15. Right. Don't mind it fully, but I will say this. If you're going to run a 2-deep zone, and you're the safety, you gotta make sure you're deeper than the deepest man. Chris Claybrooks, you'll see here on the outside, bailing off a little bit for the snap. And the problem here, I can't fault Claybrooks the full way. I think he should have ran with him. His eyes, we'll get to another view here in a second. We're in the backfield. But Londre Thomas has to attach quicker. Yeah, I don't like Chris Claybrooks kind of peeking in the backfield because if it's 3rd and 15, you kind of got to just run with your guy at this point. But Londre, it's 2 deep safety. Londre has to be there. Absolutely.
Because Chris knows that he has a
He's expecting safety help over
so he's looking at this slot guy. It's like if he's going to run past Thomas, I need to be there. So I kind of understand that because you think you have safety help. But Londre just is not there.
These are dirty eyes, though. You'll see his eyes are directly into the backfield looking at the quarterback. He's got to run with this guy and not let him beat him over top. But, that's something that's, again, very easily fixable.
Yes.
And on 3rd and 15, they know they can't let that happen.
No, not at all.
Honestly, a bad football play, but it happens every once in a while in a game.
Coverage isn't always going to be perfect.
TD run by a wide receiver. Great vision, too.
Can we timeout. Can we even call him a wide receiver?
Playmaker? What do I call him?
We're recording this on Wednesday. Antonio Gibson was named first team return specialist.
Sure was.
For the AAC.
Second team
wide receiver. And hell, you could have thrown him in as an honorable mention at running back because he's been absolutely incredible.
He's been insane down this stretch.
Antonio Gibson is just straight up a playmaker.
Look, this is, as O-line goes, they're running an outside zone. This is definitely sort of a busted play. Obina gets out front of this, gets sort of pushed into the backfield. You'll see shortly. Damn, that was a long snap. Gets pushed down to the backfield. No one can really get on their blocks, but they over-pursue, and that's the biggest thing. And Antonio Gibson, being a wide receiver,
with freaking vision.
Listed wide receiver, realizes, okay, I have a cutback lane. Let me get backside, and I'm faster than everyone.
Yeah, wait till we get to this other angle because this is incredible.
Love Brady White's hustle too.
Oh yeah,
that's nice.
But when we run this other angle, I mean, a wide receiver should not have this type of vision in the backfield. They're not used to everything being this crammed, and they jump cut, sticks his foot in the ground, bounces outside. I mean, that's instincts, man. You can't teach that. You can't teach a player to be that good.
That's a wide receiver.
Exactly.
You could have fooled me. Like,
no, 100%.
It's crazy.
It is absolutely incredible every week to see the playmakers that this team has. So, Gabe, it's obviously a unique situation to play a team in back-to-back weeks. It's not something that happens very often at all. And especially with, like we've mentioned a couple of times throughout the episode, we have no idea if it'll be Desmond Ridder, if it'll be Ben Bryant, which obviously changes things offensively for Cincinnati. But I want to talk about Memphis's offense because, like we said, they got a bit conservative at times when they knew that they had to come out with the game. Norvell really went aggressive. What are you expecting, I guess, differently this week? What do you expect to change? What looks do you expect to look the same? What is Memphis's offense going to look like in week 2 against Cincinnati?
I think they're going to air it out a lot more. I think they're going to be able to throw it and take advantage of that Cincinnati defensive backfield. But I think, the run game is going to be very similar. I think Kenneth Gainwell ran for around 85 yards on 18 carries, something like that. It'll be very similar because they're kind of stout against the run. But, the one thing that I mentioned earlier is I have a lot of confidence in the fact that they played at Cincinnati's pace.
Yeah.
And let Cincinnati take the time of possession, and they still won by 10 points. Obviously, you're helped by that personal foul on Scotty Dill, but the confidence definitely lies there because when you play and let another team dictate pace, usually they go and win that game, but the Tigers still won it in sort of a fashion that should leave a lot of Memphis fans comfortable.
Yeah, and I think the style that we saw the 3 or 4 previous weeks, other than the Cincinnati game last week, was that Memphis came out and threw the ball, and then started running the ball. And it was a lot different this week. They tried to ground and pound and play at Cincinnati's pace and try to run time of possession. And I think you're exactly right. I think they're going to come out, air it out, try to build a lead, especially if Desmond Ridder is playing quarterback.
Yep.
I cannot stress
100%.
that enough. If Desmond Ridder's playing quarterback and Memphis goes up by 2 touchdowns, call it. It's over.
Yeah.
Because he cannot throw the ball. I think if that was to happen, they would put Ben Bryant in. Because, the guy's thrown for 1,800 yards this year. He's not a good quarterback. He's a good running quarterback. But if you go down multiple scores against an offense like Memphis, then there's no chance.
He's a guy who normally can't really throw the ball that well, and his shoulder is hurt. So,
Right.
It's a situation. But it looks like Luke Fickell earlier in the week has said that that's the guy they're going with. I think they should come out with Desmond Ridder. It really looks like they should because they've shown, Ben Bryant, while he was decent, still threw 2 picks, still made mistakes with the ball, and it's a guy that they didn't trust going into the season. So I got to imagine if you're Cincinnati, you're going into this championship game putting all your everything in the basket.
Yeah.
Throwing your best guy out there who has to be, in your mind, Desmond Ridder. But I think the Tigers, it's a more favorable matchup. I think that defense will be able to handle him. And like you said, if they give up by 14, they should coast.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Cincinnati, who they play at quarterback, is key for this game because we've seen, and we talked about it a little bit last week with guys like Justin McMillan, Malcolm Perry, some of these running quarterbacks, that they did well in the beginning of the game, but when Memphis went up, they were neutralized. They couldn't do anything because they couldn't run. They couldn't run them anymore. So I think if Desmond Ridder plays, then that's probably what's going to happen because they'll control the pace maybe a little bit at the beginning. Michael Warren, if he gets going, and having Desmond Ridder running the ball. But Cincinnati's offense hasn't been good this year, and they were more explosive with Ben Bryant. With the down-the-field passing game, they were more explosive because Desmond Ridder doesn't have that.
But again, you talk about controlling pace, and I think Memphis can play at Cincinnati's pace better than Cincinnati can play at Cincinnati's pace.
You might be right on that.
I think they can play at any pace that Cincinnati throws at them, and I think that's what they showed in this game. They can get plays out of the special teams. They can get plays out of their defense. And it looks, for the most part, like Memphis can handle their business for a second week in a row. Obviously, there's huge challenges to that.
Oh, yeah.
I remember, and
Luke Fickell's a good coach.
Yeah, I remember having to play UCF twice in a year. You get killed the first time. We went back in there, and we were ready to go. So Cincinnati could come out with a better offensive game plan, but it looks like Memphis has the pieces to neutralize whatever they throw at them.
Yeah, and I think regardless of who's at quarterback, I think we'll see the defense play a lot like they did last week. Very aggressive, trying to get into the backfield like they have all year. I think this is the time where the defense can really, really stand up. We know what this team is like at home. They're a different animal at home. They haven't lost since mid-October of last year against UCF at the Liberty Bowl.
Don't come to the Liberty Bowl and win. You don't do it.
It's becoming a very, very big home field advantage for this Memphis team. I think it was October 13th, 2018 against UCF is the last time that Memphis lost at the Liberty Bowl. So that's probably at this point, 8 to 10 game winning streak at home. So it's going to be difficult for Cincinnati to come in and beat Memphis, especially if Memphis is able to get up early and control and play the game that they want to play. So with that being said, score prediction.
I'm going to go a little higher on the point total. Not for Cincinnati, but I'm going to go 42-20. 42-20 Tigers. I really think they're going to take off. They saw what Cincinnati's going to try to do to them last week. And if you give Norvell a beat on what you want to try to do to his offense, he'll make sure you cannot do that to his offense.
Yeah, I think, and that's the thing. I think he was playing some type of mad scientist game last week. I think he wanted to see what Cincinnati would do, and that was so much. And it's crazy to think about, and this could be completely false, but when you look at it, it looks like he wanted to see what they're going to do to come out this week.
I don't want to go that far, but like I said, it had to do with the pace. The pace of the game would have favored Cincinnati in a normal week against a normal team, but Memphis can play that pace, and they can beat you playing that pace.
Yeah.
So when you looked at the game and you just sort of, used the optics of it, it sort of seemed like Cincinnati was a little outmatched.
Yeah. And I mean, Memphis goes up 14-3 usually. Their foot on the pedal, they're going. They weren't as much this past week.
Yeah.
I think that all plays into knowing that you have to play this team twice.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It should be interesting. It should be a lot of fun.
What are your keys to the game?
Keys to the game?
You got some keys?
Brady White.
Brady White,
That's my key. If Brady White plays well, it's over. Because this team's going to be able to run the ball regardless. Kenny Gainwell, Antonio Gibson, Patrick Taylor, they're going to be able to run the ball regardless. If Brady White plays like he has over the past month and a half, 2 months, I think that's it.
Biggest key, in my opinion, to stopping Cincinnati and beating them handily, don't give up big plays in the run game.
Nope.
If you do that, you will beat them handily. They won't be able to put up points. And that's just plain up fact. If you don't let Michael Warren squirt out for a 30-yard run, you will win the game handily.
Absolutely. So 11-1, third consecutive AAC West Championship. Believe this is the first 11-win season.
Yep, first 11-win season.
Maybe
ever.
The first time that a conference championship will be played at the Liberty Bowl.
Gosh,
I don't know about that.
It is the first conference championship played at the Liberty Bowl, and it means a lot, man. It means a lot. This is a chance to go to the Cotton Bowl. The Tigers are the top-ranked Group of 5 team as of right now. They're right ahead of Boise State, right ahead of Cincinnati as well. So this game means a whole lot to where, the upward trajectory of this program, regardless of if Mike Norvell decides to move on to greener pastures, regardless of where this, whose hands this program gets turned over to. I think, winning this game, getting to that level will at least help that upward trajectory keep going in the right direction.
No, 100%. I mean, this is become commonplace, I guess, for Memphis football, which is crazy to think about. But we've alluded to it all year about getting to this point. We said after the Temple loss that when people were giving up hope that there was no reason. Well, here we are.
Yep.
Here we are. You win one more. You're in the New Year's Six Bowl against likely, Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, a team like that. It's going to be a good team regardless. You just have to take care of business this week. I think Memphis will. It should be a great atmosphere, like I said, with it being the conference championship. This could be the first time Memphis wins the American outright. I think you guys were co-champions in 2014.
That would be a huge monkey off the back.
Right. So come out, win your first championship. It should be a great atmosphere. It should be a fun game. But with that being said, we're going to put a bow on this one. A little Christmas theme there for you. Put a bow on this one. Get out of here. Head over to GoTigers247.com. Check out the site. Head over to wherever you get your podcast. Listen to the TKT podcast with Gabe and his brother Alex. Talk about a little bit of everything on there. What's the main right now? Y'all college football, NBA,
mostly
NFL?
College football. We're big college football guys. Obviously, I played it. He's covered it for years. He's in a big market in Iowa that plays a lot of college football, and that's all they do out there. So we cover all of it, and then some. And you should definitely get over to Apple Podcasts, Podomatic, wherever you like to listen to your podcast. The TKT podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. That's all it is.
Full promo right there.
Yeah, man.
Full promo. Well, meet us back here next week. Hopefully, we'll be recapping a win over Cincinnati and the AAC champion Memphis Tigers.
Anyway.
We'll be recapping anyway.
Hopefully,
hopefully it's a conference championship team.